Hey everybody, happy 999 portal. It's another portal into our new dream life. We're letting go of all the drama, like Mary J. Blige said. No more drama. I'm gonna light a little Metatron incense. My official archangel for Supernal David. He's my mascot for the Supernal David podcast. Yeah, baby. We're gonna have a little tea time, little yogi detox tea. Get rid of the impurities. I'm drinking a little Mary Ruth chlorophyll. I'm like really like, pushing myself more to be healthier, less sugar. I'm doing a lot of my babes is recommending eating fruit instead of sugary things, which is, a great idea. So I'm implementing it. We're having an organic pear, having some organic kiwi, a little organic banana, some organic cashews to snack on to get me, keep me sustained for 3 hours. Tomorrow I have like an early morning appointment with like insurance for Medicaid, since my Medicare got all fucked. So I'm doing that, and I have to be up at like 6 a.m, and it's already fucking midnight. And I do this for 3 hours, so I will be going from this podcast straight to bed, try to sleep for a few hours, and then be up and out the fucking door. Yeah, it's been one of those days like nonstop. I took a nap today though, so I'm good. I slept like for hours this afternoon, so I should be fine. Let's have a cash. Today was like busy. I was just, what did I do today? Oh, I had to go get, I got some more sunblock. This works great. I have really sensitive skin, especially during the summer when it's really hot. I like really sensitive skin to the sun, and or just in general. Even since I was little, I remember being little and my mom putting shaving cream on me, and it burned my skin. Which is interesting. One time, this Kabbalah teacher said this to me randomly. He was like, during a Shabbat meal, I've said this before. He was like, randomly, like, David, don't ever get any tattoos. It was like an official Kabbalah teacher, Yosef Shvili. And I just kind of looked at him like, okay. He didn't elaborate on why he said it. But I remember thinking, and I actually had all these tattoos planned out back in the day, which I've said before, I think, on the podcast. But I was like, you know what? I do have really sensitive skin. It's probably not a good idea. It's like I have enough health problems. I don't need to fucking add anything. So we went and got to Sephora and did that. Shit is overpriced, but it's like It's like unscented. It's unseen, so it's like clear. I've tried so many sunscreens that just do not work or don't agree. They irritate my skin. They look nasty. I don't like that white cakey shit that be dripping down your face and your eyes. And like, I mean, I don't put it above, I don't put it around my eye. I just put it on my forehead here. Because if I put it here, it gets in my eyes and burns. Even this. So I'll do it on my forehead, face. But this, and then I do it like on my arms. So I got really burnt this week. Like, oh my God, my arms. I mean, it's faded now. But even like, because I don't have tinted windows on my truck. And you can't really tell on camera, but it was really fucking red. And it's like really itchy now because you know when your sunburn heals, it gets really fucking itchy. So it's been driving me nuts, and I'm just like want to go, but I won't. And so yeah, I was like, and I was 2 days out of the week. Excuse me, I'm like spitting cashews. 2 days out of the week where I was like driving around all day, getting things, curating for the podcast, picking up like books and this and that, and oracle decks and tarot decks and yachty motherfucking yachty, and I was like cooking myself because the sun will like beat down on my arms, and so by the other day I got home and fucking in the following day I was like red, like all my forearm, especially like right here, and then so you can see it a little bit right here, and then like for some reason right on my wrists were just like really burnt and just itchy as fuck. And because I did just like last week ran out of my sunblock, this stuff, and so, and I was using it normally and fine, and so I went and got that today. It's overpriced though. It's like this bottle. Look at this fucking bottle. $48 fucking dollars for this. It's fucking good, but $48 good? Really, Sephora? Or Super Goop? And I swear last time it didn't cost that much and they raised the price. And even the guy said that today. I was like, wasn't it a little bit cheaper? And he's like, oh, well, you got the 1.5 bigger value size. I'm like, this is bigger? It looks the same fucking bottle I have in my fucking bathroom. Should I hold it up to the bottle in my bathroom? It looks exactly the same. And I believe it was a little bit cheaper. Fucking the world be gouging us like left and fucking right every fucking year. Groceries goes up, rent goes up, gas goes up. They will fuck you every which fucking way they can. And then they will, give you less. Oh, we're going to take away your disability. Oh, we're going to take away your insurance. Or we're going to fucking murder you. Thanks, Republicans. I'll remember that when I deny you into heaven, bitch. Let's have a little pear. So, let me not get too distracted here. So I'm using this funny theme of like hee ha from if you watch The White Lotus. Even if you didn't, you probably saw the media blitz of like Parker Posey on that Good Morning America interview where she was like, Tsunami. Hyper now. Buddhism. Parker Posey has been one of my favorite actresses for like 20 fucking years. When she came out in Party Girl, I've watched everything. Clock Watchers, this, that, the other, fucking all the like Mike White movies with her in it. That's why he cast her in White Lotus, because she was in all his comedies, like Waiting for Guffman. Best in Show is fucking hilarious. You have to watch Best in Show. There's a third one that goes with, and it has Catherine O'Hara from Schitt's Creek in them. It has Jennifer Coolidge in all those movies. If you haven't seen those old Mike White movies, if you loved, the last White Lotus, but you want to take it up to more like of a ridiculous notch, it's like fucking hysterical. Yeah, there's Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, and I'm forgetting what the other one is, which I would love to like refresh on the other one again. All right, so Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show is so fucking funny. When she's like, the busy bee, her dog's little busy bee toy. Something happens to it, and they like try to fucking find another one. Her and the husband are so fucking good in that movie. Best in Show. Oh yeah, and A Mighty Wind. See, I forget. I need to watch A Mighty Wind again. So it was Waiting for Guffman came out in 1996. Best in Show came out in 2000, and A Mighty Wind 2003. Are three highly regarded mockumentary films directed by they're directed by Christopher Guest, but I think Mike White's in them then, right? The fuck? I swear Mike White is affiliated with this. Where's the cast? Let me put Mike White. A collaboration that also involved actor Mike White. Okay, see? I'm not crazy. You know what I'm fucking talking about. Bitches. Anyways. Historical. Let's have a kiwi, shall we? Pretending this is my boyfriend's ass. Ooh, that is so good. Fuck. Sometimes you get a kiwi and it's not, the flavor is a little bit like not too sweet. This is like sweet and tart. Yum. Shit is bomb. I don't want to be squirting juices on my laptop. I think kiwi's my favorite fruit. It's good for your gut microbiome too. It sure is. Yum. See, who needs sweets when you have like delicious organic fruit? I like to get my fruit at Whole Foods because they have everything like organic. I got this huge ripe organic papaya I'm excited about. I haven't had a papaya in like a long ass time. Yum, this pear is good too. Yeah, get your fruit at Whole Foods. Sprouts is good sometimes too, but I feel like a lot of Sprouts produce goes bad or is not as fresh as Whole Foods. Like they'll let shit sit out to the very last second or with like actual mold growing on it, like on the fucking shelf. I'm like, bitch, are you paying attention? It's nasty. Okay, so yeah, the theme of the Parker Posey thing was it was going with the theme of the song, the theme for this episode, the song "It's a Knife," which is all about the negative voices, whether it's internal, external, friends, family members, our mothers, people that get up in your business. They're saying things that are untrue about you. They're talking about your new love or your boyfriend or your soulmate. They're like, or they're trying to control you by manipulating like situations, the way they treat you, like, or like how the mother, she's like really like discouraging her daughter's plans to want to move to like Taiwan or whatever. And I believe she wants to study like Buddhism and like move there or whatever. And the mom's just like, you know, what is the fucking funny quotes I posted? She's like, and so my mom does shit like this too. And so I thought it was funny because I was just having this psychic discussion with my and video discussion with my lover and about my relationship with my mother. And I had an actual like talk with my mother tonight about this. And so I was like, how interesting that I came across these funny little clips. It's just weird how like my divine inspiration happens, and it can happen just like at the very last minutes. Like this was at the last minute where that came about, where I was using those photos and just like sometimes I'm very in the moment and spontaneous with my creative inspirations, and I'll get like a title at the last minute. I got the title at the last minute, or this happens to me all the time. And sometimes that's the way the light works, or God or the creator, is that sometimes your faith will be tested and a manifestation won't happen till like the very last second, or you may have to go through like a tower moment where something completely dies before the new thing begins or grows or manifests. And so it can be really triggering if you're not used to that. I remember when I was younger and things like would happen like that, I would really go off the fucking deep end. And because I just didn't and I've gone through it so many times throughout my life that I'm a little more, I'm not saying I'm still like immune to it, but I'm a little bit more, my faith is stronger and I'm a little bit more patient and resilient, that I understand, that the main and important thing is to stay in vibrational alignment, to stay at peace, to stay calm, to stay in an energy of like love and gratitude. You have to stay in this like energy no matter what these like challenging like moments are of things dying and rebirthing, and or it's testing your patience or whatever. Because you could really just like, like back in the day, I would just like lose my shit over it and just like think the worst. And you get like in your mind of the negative thoughts and why is this happening to me? You go into like victim mode, you react, you start taking it out on other people. And so, yeah, this is like her like saying like, because it was fun. This is what inspired it, is because I'm featuring this esoteric Buddhism of Japan Oracle deck. And so it reminded me tonight, like right before I was getting ready to like do the promotion photos and music and all that. And I was like, it literally just popped in my head. I could hear Parker Posey go, Buddhism. And so I loved this because she's like, but you're not a Buddhist. And then she's like, honey, you're not from China. And then she's like, don't you dare judge me. So it just reminded me like how mothers are and how my mom is very like this in certain ways. In certain ways, she reminds me of this like character. Or even my other step parents, how they would just like always find like the devil's advocate of anything I ever wanted to do. It was always like, and don't you hate that when people just like rain on your fucking parade like that? I mean, I know sometimes they're coming from a good place, but if there's a fine line of like coming from a good place and being pessimistic and crossing boundaries and like raining on people's parade or like, and so then this was in there too, and it said mom trauma cam to you want to live in Taiwan. I was like, this is could not be more created curated from God for me. Um and I was just like, my mom, I was literally, my mom has been doing this. I was telling my baby about it on my last episode because he was clocking her energy in my field of how much I take care of her and everything, but a lot of times she can be like draining in a way that's unnecessary. And it comes from like this entitlement that I think family members, I was talking about this too, sometimes in love relationships, friendships, family, or even the public. When you're in the public eye, people on social media are so fucking entitled. It's like if you share a little bit about your relationship, this or that, or your personal, suddenly they think it gives them fucking absolute permission to go ape shit and make videos all about what they think about you and they think about your relationship and what they think about your life and the decisions you made. And motherfucker, fuck you. Like, who the fuck are you? How about I get up in your business and start fucking clocking your shit? How would you like that? Because I bet you have some skeletons in your motherfucking closet. Usually the ones that judge like that are the ones that have shit in their fucking closet. So yeah, that's what I thought was funny too, because she was like, don't you judge me. Me and my mom have had those arguments like way in the past where we had like blow up arguments before like that, where she was like, that just reminded me of her looking at that picture. Um, yeah, they say that in Kabbalah, judge and you will be judged. That we're not here to judge each other. Everyone's in their process of learning different lessons at different times. And when you make mistakes and you get grace from God, don't you appreciate that? Or would you like to be held to the fire the way you're holding other people to the fire? So I think ultimately the lesson is to not judge people, to be merciful, let karma and God do its thing. It's not your fucking job. You're actually attracting judgment into your own life from the creator, from source, by judging others. What are you going to do? Some people are addicted to the drama. But you tune those fucking people out. You get on your high vibe frequency, they're in their low vibe frequency, and it's like you're not crossing paths, honestly. Oh yeah. So yeah, like I had a talk with her tonight, and I was like, look, because ever since this happened with like my disability and my insurance, she knows I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to I'm trying to tap into where God is trying to direct me. And until that happens, I'm kind of like, just kind of like, I don't want to go into like, she has a different energy. And this is what I love about my soulmate, that he just like understands how, what I understand about the sense of like, no, he's very smart with about Abraham Hicks, as am I. And so if you know anything about Abraham Hicks and law of attraction, and maintain a positive vibrational frequency, so you can allow source to like guide you in the right direction and attract the right things in, you have to be in that spectrum of like calm and peace and letting go of resistance. My mom has very much always been this type of energy. She's not always like this, but when she's feels under pressure, or she feels any sort of pressure externally or financially or whatever, like something like that, she gets into like, she gets very like crabby or pushy or judgy or impatient, or just gets in this like shitty vibe mood, and she projects it. And so, you know, I haven't had to deal with this for a long time because I've been on disability for 3 to 4 years. And so this has been just like this curveball of transitioning out of it. And I already felt like it was like, I already kind of sensed and knew and like had some sort of channeled information to me where I was like very clear, like, okay, I feel like I'm having this tower moment where this end of a chapter and being reliant upon that is closing, and I'm gonna like start working again, but definitely in alignment with what source is directing me to do. I'm not going to rush into anything that's not for me out of a state of impatience or panic or fear. I'm not going to make decisions, fear-based decisions, because that's when you make fucking mistakes. And so there's like a bit of like surrendering and just really making sure I'm like in an alignment and tuned in and rested, and like, so and my soulmate's been like guiding me of, don't worry, everything's going to come in, meditate, rest. This is your spiritual sort of inheritance. You've already created enough abundance in your past where now spirit is bringing this in for you. And which I've always been the type, because I was in survival mode for many years, and because that pressure, not only from my, was I getting that pressure from my mother, but my other family members, the public, roommates, just your work environment. We in America, they say that. I think there's like, in Italy, they're like way more like slow about things and carefree. They don't overwork. They shut down businesses during like midday. So it's like this different, America's like work, 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 work till you're dead. Money, 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 material, material. And so when you're like a little bit more spiritual, as I am, and you study things of spirituality, and you realize what's important, what's not important, and when you're in alignment and when you're not, and like my love, he's great at that too. And I was like, thank God, like I prayed that my soulmate would be somebody that was like got me like on that sense, and it was like good for my nervous system and wasn't pushing me the way the world was, or family and things like that, and making me feel like a fucking dollar bill or like a fucking like a show fucking, you know, like a circus fucking elephant and shit, or like a show pony. You know what I mean? It's like you want somebody that just really sees you, is really tapped into spirit, loves you for you. And you know, one that's like what really made me like fall in love with him, is just these qualities that he has that are really like beautiful and rare. And and I've never like experienced that type of like love with somebody. And honestly, I'm like so patient for it, because it's just, it's so, you know, he's one of a kind and tailor made. Damn, this is fucking good. Mm. And so I talked to her and I was like, look, mom, I am doing everything I can to stay in positive alignment. And my mom's spiritual. She volunteers at church. She's godly, but and she reads the Bible and all the things. But my mom's the type that learns a lot about it, but then she doesn't embody it sometimes, because her actions will show otherwise. So she doesn't fully like embody it in certain circumstances where you can tell. And so it's like I always try to help her like embody things when I notice she's not. Um because I think people that go to church sometimes, or even study the Bible or pray or do prayers, they can get in a sense of like um going through the motions, where it becomes just like ritualistic and there's no actual like discernment going on, or like embodiment or understanding, comprehension, where you're processing the spiritual lessons that source is teaching you through the Bible or through whatever spirituality or religion or religious or spiritual text or ancient text that you're like studying, whatever, you know what I mean? You And so, you know, studying Kabbalah for 20 years really helped me uncover that side of myself. Even before then, I was like doing that. I remember even before Kabbalah, and I was like in my early 20s, and I would listen to Joyce Myers and really just like, that's when I was really like getting into like the word of God from the Bible, and seeing synchronicities. I would get all these weird synchronicities with Joyce Myers, where she would either come on the radio or come on television, or read her book, and then I would have these synchronicities throughout the day where a lesson was coming at the right moment. And that was where I first started noticing like, what is this like synchronized sort of like, I feel like I'm hearing this message at a specific moment for a specific reason, as like as God's like communicating through her to me. You know, that was the first time I really started having that sort of like epiphany of like, oh, God like really communicates and channels through people and things in mysterious ass ways. And that's where it made you start to realize that, you know, the physical or the external is like illusionary and can like morph. Like just when you think something's a certain way, it can just like shift, you know, depending on your perspective. And yeah, that was something I learned from over the years. And this is something that's been helpful too, that I also love about my soulmate, is that he reminds me of like to focus on the positive, which is what Abraham Hicks is always like. Because, you know, I like sometimes like scary movies or sometimes I have like a, like a dry, sarcastic sense of humor, or like a shit talking sort of like humor, or a little bit of a judgmental side in my humor as well. Like I can clap back. So it's more from that. If somebody rubs me the wrong way, sometimes I can be have that clack back. And I've noticed the shift since he's been in my life. I have noticed the shift in me in so many different areas where it's just like I just don't behave like I would before. Like I really am like more conscientious about what I focus on, what I say, how I respond, the energy I'm holding, like I'm very it's really interesting and beautiful what love does to you. And I see that in him too. Like the last couple of videos he's made, I've seen, and since I've really communicated a lot of like my love for him and psychic, you know, um, things I felt called to share or say to him, to inspire or like protect him. And just to see him like come to life in that same sort of like way where he's like blossoming and transforming and transmuting, and I'm just seeing him like in real time get better and better, and it's like and open up more, and it's like really like, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about like what love does. It just makes us better people. And when you're in relationship, it makes you realize it's not just about me anymore. I need to like understand that the energy and things I focus on and do affect my partner. And so, like even for this podcast, part of the thing was I was going to go see The Conjuring, the new Conjuring, and I love all those movies. I've watched them all, but I'm also in the mindset of like, it's true, like what you focus on, you attract. And I had like a good example of that this week too, when I was like studying stuff about Cain, this like negative presence, and David Koresh, and I had this weird scenario where I was talking about it, and my dog yelped, and then not even 20 minutes later, I see this clip of Cain from Poltergeist 2 where he touches this dog and the dog yelps. And even before I saw that clip, I had some weird thing, and I said to my mom, I was like, "Isn't it weird that I'm talking about Cain and that's David Koresh, and our puppy like yelped, and he was just sitting there right in front of us, like nothing happened to him, as if something had touched him." And I remember saging and feeling like something like I had this weird sense, like some negative spirit tried to, I was like, maybe it's law of attraction, since I'm like talking about or focusing on the spirit. And I've watched a lot of paranormal investigations where it is like that, where they will go in these environments, and when they start talking about a spirit and they have their EMF, machines, they'll be talking about so and so specific spirit that once lived there, and they will respond, and they will ask them questions either with the EMF or the ghost box, where you can actually get their voice like through this sort of white noise frequency. I don't know if it's white noise or what they call it, but it's like a certain frequency that picks up on radio. It can pick up on like voices from the other side, and or they can just respond through an EMF detector where it lights up when the energy is like communicating, or what. Sometimes they have ones with lights that light up if the spirit is like picking up on that electromagnetic frequency. And so yeah, it's very interesting how like law of attraction leads into like stuff like that. And so I was like, you know what, I don't need all that in my life. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm not saying I'll never see the movie, but I was already going through like an emotional when I'm in like an emotional, sensitive mood and too much is going on, I don't like to watch anything that's sort of like, I have to be in like a kind of like stronger, more sort of like relaxed. I mean, sort of like vibe to even want to watch something that's really too scary or anything. Um, I used to watch a lot more of that type of stuff. I don't really watch a lot of that stuff anymore, even though I'm like using it as like a theme. It's more as a theme about spiritual lessons on how to protect yourself against negative forces is what I'm really using it for on the podcast. It's not so much about the just watching it for entertainment value. There's some sort of like spiritual lesson that I'm sharing that I have learned that is there's a synchronicity happening that I'm using for content to convey said message, And so yeah, I like decided not to even watch that. And he's really helping me just like shift my like the side of me that has like goes into like negative perspectives on things. And he's really like helped me shift to like see the good in everything, be patient, let go of resistance, um, focus on the positive, pour into myself, refine myself. Just like so loving, so guiding, giving me lots of like ideas of how to like improve not only my physical health, my spiritual health, my mental health, my emotional health. Like that is a real fucking man. When they're doing shit like that for you, that's love on a whole nother level. That's not like I just want to fuck you and have dates and like chill. This is like I love you. When you're like when two souls can like teach each other like that, and I think we both do that for each other. But I want to acknowledge how amazing it is that he does that for me, and like and I listen, and I appreciate it, and it does help. It really does help. Because when you have your whole life of people in your ear just making you feel like shit, like everything you do is wrong and you can do no right, and they're like they don't really want to be happy for you. And sometimes even when you have new things in your life, like maybe new love or whatever, you feel like maybe they're not like supporting you or happy for you, or like, sometimes there's people are like that. It's like they never want to be happy for you if you have something that they don't have. Like say they don't have a happy relationship and then they see love coming into your life in true love. There's this like jealousy energy where they want to either like discredit or make you think, oh, this is not real, and how do you know, and like as if you have to convince them. I like said that to my therapist because she was being like that a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I literally said that to her. I'm like, and I love her, and but I feel like you're making me feel like I have to try to convince you of something, and I'm not going to do that. I was like, I'm secure in how I feel with him, and I don't need to like convince anyone of it. Like if I want to talk about him, I want to talk about him for my own sort of like joy, not because I'm trying to like get you to like why would I even have to convince you of anything? Like, and don't like worry about me. I'm fucking good. It's like, do you know what I've been through and the types of fucking assholes I've dated? Like I'm definitely have like a good, like bullshit detector, and I can tell when somebody really has feelings for me and is really like he actually cares about me in a way that nobody ever has. So he's the last person I'm looking at as like, doesn't have my best interest in fucking mind. So worry about yourself and your own man, okay? That's my advice for you. And and I said that to my mom. I was just like, in this situation and in all situations going forward, I was like, I was like, I don't let. I was like, since this has happened with the my disability and my Medicare, and I'm trying to figure everything out. Just the past week or so, when we got like confirmation of what was happening, I was like, I feel like her energy has like shifted to very like moody and up and down, and she's like, it's almost like she worries. I get it. You're worried about me. I'm your son, but you got to let me figure out things on my own. You can't fix this for me, and it's something I have to do with me and God. And if you're doing things to make me feel like shit and like trigger me out of like a positive vibration, you're not helping the matter. And so I said to her, I was like, I need you to just stay happy and positive. That's all I need from you. I don't need you to do anything for me. I don't need you to help me with anything. I was like, I will figure this out, and I'm positive and optimistic and tuned in and like doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. You're just the one who's like pulling me out of that energy with these like this low vibe comments, low vibe energy. And I was like, I do a lot for you, mom, and it's because I love you and I'm never going to let anything fucking happen to you. And I was like, but I give a lot to you. And then when it's time for me to do things, like I said this to her, I just candidly, I was like, because I noticed she acted this way the past couple of weeks, where it was like, she has a lot of appointments. And so I watch her dog. She's not watching my dog. I'm watching her dog. And so, it's like, and then she has all these like appointments, like hair, nails, this, that, the other. And I'm like, doctor's appointments, that. And it's like, I'm not doing all this extra fucking shit. And if I do extra shit, I don't have her watching something for me. She chose to have a dog. She chose that responsibility. And then and it's like, and I gladly do that for her because she's my mother and I love her. And I want her to enjoy her last years. She is a widow. She has no other family members. I do love her, even though we didn't have a great relationship growing up and she did some fucked up shit to me. We're in a good place now. I love her and I'm not a cruel person. I can't, but I know I have responsibilities where I have to work and make sure I'm okay. And if something happened to her, I would have to take care of her dog and I have to make sure that I am financially capable to do so. And I'm not yet. So she might have to I told her, I was like, you're going to have to suck it up when I start working or I get some sort of opportunities. You're not going to be able to be just like gallivanting, like fucking, like, it's a luxury that you're going to get your nails and hair done and all that. And then I'm watching you maybe have to find, some other, there may just have to be some sort of shift in like, who helps her. The thing that sucks is that my brother lives in another state, so everything gets like on me, and which is a little bit like frustrating because I feel like it's just like monopolizes a lot of my time and energy. And my soulmate was like saying that the other day when I was having that. I literally had a day where we were kind of like bickering a little bit about this exact scenario, and he picked up on it and he says, I can feel your mother's energy in your field and how much energy she takes up of you and throws you off to where you're always having to recalibrate. And I was like, he's right. But there's like, in a sense, I feel almost kind of like, and this is also because I have not had, because of what I went through with like my family throwing me onto the streets and then falling in love with a toxic boyfriend who used me and sabotaged me and I got in debt and that snowballed and I never got out of it. and I dropped out of college and owed money to the college and didn't go back. So I've kind of had this wedge where I was like suddenly shift into these 9 to 5 jobs, and I was just basically in survival mode for many years and never getting my head above water, never making enough money to get out of it, trying lots of different things, but still never making enough money to get out of it. And so sometimes you feel like you're thrown into like slavery, so to speak. I'm not comparing slavery to anyone who's been through like, like slavery for like, racism or, but I'm saying an aspect of slavery where you're like, you have no money and you're at the mercy of like people, and so they will treat you as if you're a slave, and in a sense you are, because it's like, it's not like they have like a lock and control, like you're working on their fucking plantation. I'm not saying a slave like that. I'm saying like a slavery in the sense of like, once you're under somebody's thumb financially, they get this entitlement as if you owe them. And there was a certain point where I went from Chicago to Pennsylvania and it didn't work out. And I was literally at my breaking point before I came back to Vegas. And I called my mom, and, she was telling me that my stepfather had dementia. And I told my mom, I was like, I got to get out of here. I made a wrong decision. I moved with this lesbian couple that I was friends with, one of the couple, and I didn't know the other one was like an abusive alcoholic. I'm stuck in this fucking like time warp of a fucking city with like Amish buggies going down the fucking road in Pennsylvania. And I was like really rural. And I was like, I'm from all these big cities. And I was like, and also I have this like disability where it's like I have to take a certain medication and make sure it's covered. It used to be in pill form, now it's in shots. Now this is the type of thing where I have to have these shots every 2 months. If I am off the medication, I will die. I don't talk about this a lot, but if I don't take this medication, I will die. And it's there's no cure for it. And I can't just go to another country. If I even go to like another state, like in the United States, I have to make sure I'm back in Vegas every 2 months to get that shot. It used to be in pill form, which was different, but I like the shot thing better. But it puts constraints on me to where I can't just, like, if I go out of the country, I have to make sure that somehow I am accessing my fucking shot or medication or whatever. And it's nothing that's like, it's not, like transferable or transmutable, from the medication puts it into a place of remission where it's like it doesn't exist. The medicine is very advanced now. And so, but it's still like, it's something that I have to do. And I always have to like, I always think about like, that sucks. Like I can't just fucking go out of the country and like feel completely like free about it. It's easier to just go to like another state in the United States because I'm still like, not too far away to come back home or whatever. But, like with the pandemic, people got locked out of the country or locked in countries. Can you imagine that happening? And I would need to like access that medication. And you have to make sure your insurance covers it. And I even said that to my doctor one time. I'm like, what if I'm like working, like traveling, and like they weren't even that like sort of helpful to make me feel secure, as like they would just be like, well, you would have to be back here to in the shot. So it's every 2 months, and it has to be within a week span. So I can either take the exact date 2 months later, a few days forward, or a few days early within like a week span. So what took me to that subject? There was something that led up to that. And but with this medication, it completely puts it in remission. You can live a long ass healthy life. There's no sort of like you know, thank God. And maybe one day they'll have like a fucking cure. But until then, it's like I just have like that little bit of like a leash on me to a certain extent, which I don't really talk about a lot, how that just like makes me, like, I don't want to say depressed, but it's always kind of loomed in the back of my mind where, like, I remember when I was diagnosed with it, like I passed out. Like they told me and I like blacked out and like fell and they had to like crack one of those things under my nose. And it's not, it was like too, it was just because I wasn't educated about it. Once I was like and I was like in my head about it, like thinking worst case scenarios. And then the doctors like had to educate me about it and the medication. And they're like, no, you can live like a happy, normal life. It's not, I was even resistant to like, medication and everything in the beginning and was just like, I was so uneducated about it. And I was like, um, I'll never forget that fucking moment of like despair and just like blacking out like falling over. And then she's like, oh my God, and she ran and like cracked one of those things under my nose, which makes you like instantly like, I haven't passed out like that since I was like in one time in elementary school, and we had choir. And I think it was like second grade or something, and I'm like, we were going up for the concert of the choir, and I'm like, I started blacking out. I started seeing this like darkness like go like this of my eyesight. So I like stumble off the fucking like, bleachers. Not bleachers, but they had this sort of like bleachery stand thing on the stage. And I'm like walking towards my teacher, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna pass out. And then I'm like, bleh, and like threw up all over her and blacked out. Oh my God, poor lady. Um, oh yeah, I had some tea too with my lid on it. See if it kept it hot. Ooh. It didn't. It's not even hot. All right, I'll just warm that up later. I can't stand lukewarm tea. Should have drank that earlier. I forgot what led me to that subject. There was something we were talking about that led to that. Anyways, long story short, with my mother, I was just like, all I'm asking you, I was like, I'm not asking you for anything really other than to just be positive, loving, pray for your son, you know. But I was like, and you know what? I was like, at a certain point, my soulmate's going to come into my life. And I was like, you cannot be saying any, I was like, I want you to be on your best sort of like behavior with saying positive things. I was like, I won't put up with it and neither will he. And I was just like, I was like, he's very positive. I will not like put up with any sort of like weird energy around him. Um, and yeah, and I was just like, you cannot be saying these little like, like moody comments towards me like you have been doing the past week since all this happened. And I was like, I can't control the government, Trump, everything that happens in the world. Sometimes life is going to throw us curveballs, Mom. And you know me, I'm always doing my best. I'm a hard fucking worker. I work my fucking ass off. I always put everyone else first more than I do myself. And now I'm learning to start putting myself first for fucking once in my life, because I've been like a fucking slave to everyone else my whole life. And the sad thing is that a lot of them don't even appreciate how much I've ever given to them. And so now it is my time, and to have a soulmate that wants me to pour into myself like that is such a beautiful thing. And I feel the same way about him. I even told my mom, I was like, if he ever, wants to move here, um, set up his room already, and where his I fixed the garage so he can park here. And I was like, he works, and has his own sort of like business that he does like online. And so I was like, this room is for like when he needs to work. And I was like, when he needs to work, he needs quiet and privacy. And of course, my room is his room too. But when he needs for his stuff, or he wants alone time, or he wants to meditate, or he needs to work, I was like, so I've made it very clear to her, you know, boundaries and everything of like, and my mom's, I'm not trying to make her sound like some sort of like witch or something. She's like, you know, she's she's very happy go lucky, optimistic, loving, sweet. She is really like that, especially with other people. The more of that other side is more something only a family will experience, like me or my brother, and or like her husband who passed away. But anyone else, she doesn't show that side to really anyone else. And when other people are around, she's always on her best behavior. But I will not allow her to like embarrass me or talk to me in sort of any sort of like entitled negative way that has been doing recently, and that I know my soulmate has picked up on, and it's not cool. And so I was like, you know what? If he's picking up on this, I need to fucking have a talk with her and like kind of like, and and I have to adjust to the idea of maybe like everything's up in the air. It's like I don't know. It's like if I'm gonna work and I get offered something to work to travel, I'm gonna have to take it. So there will have to be dynamics, and I'll have to like the thing that's really hard for me is to detach from the puppy because it's like my mom's puppy, and he's grown up around me and he's so attached to me, and I'm so emotionally attached to him that I know I will like cry my eyes out when I have to like be away from him and just like or to even just leave my mom like alone with him, and even like protective over her. I'm just like very protective over her, and I just don't know how to get around it. And it's just like it's really like emotionally like challenging me. And I was trying to just like express that to my soulmate and let him know like this is not like some sort of like I don't can't easy answer for me. And but of course I have to put myself and my soulmate like first, and I will. And I have to like if I get a job offer out of state, and maybe my brother will have to like help a little bit more with like maybe checking in with my mom when she goes places, or maybe we can get some sort of like her church friends or people to like help her or look out for her, or I don't know. I'm gonna have to make some sort of arrangements, just to make sure that she's safe, or that I don't like the idea of her going and pumping gas by herself with just her and the puppy. And she takes the puppy with her everywhere. But I'm very like in this city, like I literally had a friend who had a grandmother. I told this on the last episode, and it's traumatized me ever since I was like young. It was like her grandmother went to a grocery store in Vegas. Some guy murdered her, shoved her in the trunk, took her car and parked it in a church parking lot with her dead body in the fucking trunk. This was like my first girlfriend in like junior high. Um, and then we were friends later on, but I never got over that happened to her. I was just, and I'm like a hawk with my mother because of it. It's just, and I know how people are when you go to when you're a woman and you're fucking, they target like women when you're like in public or in parking lots and shit like that. And so it's just like, I'm just that's just the type of person I am. I'm just very protective. The people I love, I'm very loving of, and I'm very protective over, especially if they have like they're vulnerable in ways, you know? And so, but I also know my mom has chose herself over me numerous times in my life. And I had to go through hell and back because of it. And so if she were to die now, I would not be sustainable financially on my own. And I would have to like deal with like all her everything, you know, everything's like written to like when she has a really nice new car that's in my name, like both the truck and her car are in my name. And, you know, she has like, she doesn't like have a lot of money or anything. It's not like a money thing, but we have like TVs and furniture and this and that. So, but it still would be like a headache because I would have to be the one and my brother to just like sift through everything. And so that's, I'm not looking forward to the day that that happens. I mean, none of us look forward to the day that our parents like pass away, but it's a reality. Um, but also, I feel like God is bringing in career stuff for me now and offers, and it may be out of state. And so I'm going to have to face some of these things. It's not going to be the easiest thing for me to face or for her to face. And thank God I have my soulmate like supporting me in this process, and having my back like emotionally and communicating with me about it because it's not going to be easy for me. And actually felt really good that he really like saw through all the bullshit and could really just like, you know, it just makes me feel like he's so protective over me and to make sure that I'm okay, and that he can see things that are going on that even I can't sometimes. Sometimes we have blind spots to our own life and we need that higher perspective. And I feel like I'm that way for him and he's that way for me. And like, and so I really, when he says stuff, I like really, you know, ponder it and contemplate, and, you know, it feels good to get like a higher perspective on things unseen. Or, and so, yeah, I obviously like, I won't turn down any sort of like, but also I got this weird communication in dream state last week or just a few days ago where I was sleeping and this voice said, be careful who you go into business with. Very clear as day, as if somebody whispered in my ear. And that was all they said. Which I don't know if that was my baby's voice coming to me and he was doing that, or if it was a spirit guide or an angel or what. So I'm definitely going to be like not making any rush decisions. And I will be like messaging my soulmate and asking him what he thinks always before I make a business decision. And you know, obviously asking God for like confirmation if it's right for me or not. Because apparently there's offers that could come in that could not be. I already had one when I was like a few months ago in that America's Next Top hit maker. I had like an offer from like a big agency in music and sports, but I just didn't feel it was a match. And so, and they're like big time agency, but I just knew, I was like, something felt off with the interaction with who was like DMing me. And I was right. My gut was right. It was not a match. And I know I wouldn't have been happy. And I didn't like this, the energy of the person I was like dealing with. It was like very like entitled, arrogant sort of like vibe. And a lot of people are so desperate for money and success that they'll just be like, you know, and I'm not that type of person. I don't have a lot, but I'm still not desperate either. I won't sell my fucking soul for fucking success. Never have been that person and never will be. I mean, I didn't have as high standards as I back. I mean, back in the day, I just didn't have any self-esteem. But when I was in my 20s or whatever, I put myself in a lot of stupid situations. But I'm saying I was never the type to like sell myself out for like success, even when I didn't have much. All right. Anyways, we got to get into this 11/11. All right, let's get in a little bit to this book and let's do a little reading. And then I got to be up early as all hell. So I need to like shift this. And my mom was receptive just to like put a cap on that last conversation. She received it and she knew I was coming from a good place. And she understands. I was like, this is the person I'm going to marry. This is what's going on right now with me having to figure this out on my own. All I need you to do is just stay positive. Trust the process. You know. And I've already spoken more previously about, you know, I may want to move out with my soulmate and not live here. So she knows that too. And I know she got maybe like a little bit like defensive about it. She's like, oh, well, maybe that would be, maybe that would be a good thing too. So it was just kind of like, I was like, but mom, I was like, I want to make sure you're like, okay. So it's not like I've completely figured this situation out. And I'm not just saying like, peace out, mom, bye. I'm going to go move with my soulmate. Fuck you. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not like that. I was like, I'm going to always make sure you're taken care of and you're okay and protected. And I was like, I don't know, maybe we could live together nearby but I was like, or maybe we could live here too and have our own space somewhere else, you know? So it's just things that need to be discussed eventually when the time is right. Whenever my soulmate is ready for any of this discussion, it's, you know, it's a mutual thing. It's not just me. And I'm very patient for whenever things happen, but I'm just saying, I'm clearing space. I'm making space. I'm communicating with my family. I'm laying the groundwork vibrationally and energetically and physically for my soulmate to come in and for us to like be together and you know, build our like career, our home, our legacy together. So, but it's at the very beginning stages, but you know, I just I knew I had responsibilities that I need to do just to kind of communicate things to my mother and prepare myself. And that's why I'm still in the process. Like I completely set up that room for him for whenever he visits or would like to move here. His car can stay in the driveway like at night now because I moved shit out of the garage so I can pull one of our cars in because you can't park on the street in our complex at night and for like, you know, security purposes. And now I'm also you know, and then I cleaned my room really thoroughly, but I'm still in the process of going through all my drawers, getting rid of stuff out of my closet, going through all my drawers, getting rid of everything. So it's a lot of like purging things that are old or energy, which is all what this, eclipse and 999 portal is all about releasing things from the past, clearing that old energy, creating space for the new. This is all that what that energy is about right now. And I've been doing like really focusing on that, like clearing out all this old things, laying down the freaking, path for the future that I feel and know and sense and, is coming in. And he's been really helpful with like, getting me to be aware that to do that as well. He's communicated that to me in his videos and so all right, so enough about that. Everything's good. I got my mom's blessing. She understood where I was coming from. She knows I mean business when it comes to my soulmate and my future husband. I'm not fucking around. And she knows that I need to like set myself up financially before she ever leaves this world. So it's now or never, you know. So we're just going to have to figure shit out. And I'll just, we're just going to have to make it work. However that is, I'll update you guys on how it ends up working out, okay? So pray for me, pray for my mom, pray for my soulmate that everything just works out in a sense where nobody is like, unhappy. And that everyone is safe and protected. And a lot of this, I'm clearing up a lot of like ancestral trauma from my parents and their parents that has been basically dumped onto me and affected my entire life. And now it's like I'm really like cleaning up that trauma. Thank God, with the help of my soulmate, because it's hard to clean up a lot of it on my own. But he really just, and it's not, his responsibility, but he really does like help me have strength to do it. Just him loving me just gives me so much strength. Okay, so let's read a little bit about your soul contractor coded. So last episode I went through the table of contents and read all those chapters, and there was a shit ton of chapters. Really fucking interesting. Now, this is one of the most interesting books I've ever come across, and it's really interesting as well because my history with Kabbalah and the Hebrew language, and I've already known about soul contracts for a very long time, but I've never studied it in depth like what this book is sharing. So here's the foreword is like 2 pages, so we'll read that and then I'll pick like a chapter. We'll do a little bit of reading about that, and then we'll hop over to shamanic dreaming, and then we're gonna do this fun little. So I came across this cool little 999 portal tarot spread, which I'll do just like a reading with this one. This is an oracle deck, but then I have don't knock that over, my B tarot. So we can use the B tarot for the 999 portal tarot spread. And so I'll just do a chapter here, chapter there, an oracle deck reading, and then we'll do the 999 portal with the B tarot, and then we'll call it a wrap. All right, here's the forward. Before I start, I need to say that I have not trained in soul contract reading specifically, and I therefore do not fully understand the nuts and bolts of how it works. Oh, really? I have heard that it is based on numerology and the Hebrew alphabet. But then again, it is not necessary for me to know this to gain benefit from the work. Just as it is not necessary to know all the details of how a car works or how a film is made to gain value from them. What I can say is that I have received a number of soul contract readings that have given me insight and strategies to use in my personal and professional life. In order to properly introduce this book, where do you even get soul contract training from? Maybe I'll look into that after this book. In order to properly introduce this book, I need to introduce myself first. I have been a director of a non for profit organization called Alternatives for the past 12 years. Alternatives has been based in St. James Church, Piccadilly, London for the past for the for the past 30 years, and what it does quite successfully is hosts authors and presenters from around the world who write or teach about spirituality, self-help, or personal development. As a writer and coach, I have researched many different spiritual and personal development paths and ideas, and I have also been introduced to a number of profiling systems that range from the more down to earth end that, for example, profile emotional intelligence such as EQ 360, and of course the classic Myers Briggs that looks at personality types, to the more spiritual end of the scale, such as the Enneagram. I also have been assessed by such systems and found that each offered a different useful perspective. Okay. Whatevs. Since having been introduced to the system, I have come to know Nicholas David Nagan quite well. Oh, so this is just the foreword. I thought it was the author for a second. I'm like, well, you don't know about this subject and you wrote a book about it? So this is Steve Aniel Noble, author, coach, and co-director of Alternatives, London. He's doing the foreword. So Nicholas David Nagan, the author, knows about soul contracts. This is just the forward guide. I was like thrown off. I was like, what the fuck? You don't know about soul contracts and you wrote a book? Why did I buy this book? So we're good. Okay. I was like, huh? Okay. I have come to know Nicholas David Nagan, the author of the book, quite well. We have met up socially on a number of occasions where we had many lively and deep discussions on the system. What struck me immediately about soul contract readings was that it was not based simply on personality, mindset, emotions, or behavior, although it has insights into all these aspects of earthly life, but that it was fundamentally based on the soul. From my point of view, I experience living in a world that knows a lot about personality and ego and very little about soul. Join the club. The term soul for most of us in the West is heavily laden with ideas around losing or selling the soul as it were a thing that we possess. In my view, soul is who we are at the core of our being, the part of us that knows our true mission in this lifetime. The soul is the animating principle, the incorporeal essence of a person. The soul is sometimes called the deep or higher self, who we are being now, and the potential of who we can become. The soul holds the memory of our many lifetimes in the patterning we call karma. The soul also holds the latent gifts, abilities, and potential in our future that we have yet to uncover and actualize. Wait, I want to read this part again. The soul is sometimes called the deeper or higher self. To know the soul is to embrace the totality of who we've been, who we are being now, and the potential of who we can become. The soul holds the memory of our many lifetimes in the patterning we call karma. The soul, that's a name in the Bible, Saul, King Saul. The soul, that's with like the whole King David story too. The soul also holds the latent gifts, abilities, and potential in our future that we have yet to uncover and actualize. Interesting. For those with ears that listen, our soul continually speaks to us in every moment through the gentle whispers of the intuition and our motivating values that propel us to right action. This book offers you insight into your soul's journey here on earth. How you use that information is, of course, up to you. It could be just another interesting self help book you read, or you could decide to go deeper into the material presented here. Okay. Wait, let me read this again. This book offers you insight into your soul's journey here on earth. How you could use that information is, of course, up to you. It could be just another interesting self help book you read, or you could decide to go deeper into the material presented here. Okay. Through the readings, I have come to understand more fully my life journey, my challenges, my strengths, my goals, and my sole purpose. They also have given me an insight into areas such as relationships, where it shows the hidden energetic dynamics that really drive them. Another interesting use of the system has been in branding. For instance, the title of my recent book, The Enlightenment of Work, Watkins Publishing, was evaluated and given the green light using this system. Interesting. The title was in perfect alignment with my sole purpose. Cool. And thus is helping it manifest with more ease and grace in the world. Oh, I love that. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of the system for that it offers more than insight. I'm so glad I got this fucking book. It offers advice and strategies for you, the reader, to align with your map and thus actualize more your soul's purpose in the world. Bright Blessings, Steve Anael Nobel, author, coach, and co-director of Alternatives London. Is this from the author right here? Okay, so this is the preface, and he talks about my soul contract reading. Then it goes inspired to share and teach, the spiritual map of my life, and then introduction. All right, so we'll do that. And then it goes to chapter 1. So we'll just read the preface and the introduction. And then we'll jump to we'll do a little reading, oracle reading, then I'll jump to shamanic dreaming, and then we'll jump to the tarot reading. And hopefully that'll, we've got an hour and a half. Hopefully that'll be enough time. If I go a little bit over, fine. Okay, my soul contract reading. In 1990, at the beginning of my spiritual journey of awakening, I walked into a hotel room in Phoenix, Arizona as part of a week-long spiritual training called the Carousel of Growth. This was for a spiritual numerology of Moses reading with Frank Alper, who originally channeled this work through the 1980s. He converted my birth certificate name into phonetic Hebrew sounds on a Star of David. Out of these phonetic sounds, he extracted the equivalent Hebrew numbers. You know, and when I studied Kabbalah over the years, a lot of the Kabbalah teachers would do that. Take a word and break it down into the numerology and say what the numerology of the word meant energetically or phonetically. I don't, maybe they were using this exact system. Who knows? So, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Out of these phonetic sounds, he extracted the equivalent Hebrew numbers. Over the next hour, Frank used interpretations of these numbers to completely decode my entire life. He put all of my disparate life experiences into place, and I saw the complete order and truth that was my present. My life made sense for the first time. I no longer felt lost and without direction, and I no longer felt that life was some strange mystery where seemingly random events kept happening to me. At last, I finally understood why all those things happened, and that there was an underlying spiritual map to it all created by my soul. I had connected to my life purpose for the very first time, and that resonated within me at a very deep soul level. I had come home and had found myself at last. Frank showed me that there was both a physical and spiritual component of life, and that within these components there were three aspects: karma, the set of unresolved issues from past lives, which the soul brings in to overcome in this lifetime; talents, initially latent, that come into consciousness to overcome the karma; and goals, which are like the underlying drive we have in life. What gets us out of bed in the morning, the dream we have come to earth to manifest. Finally, there was the soul destiny, which is the sum total of all these. The real purpose of why the soul has come to earth. Understanding the karmic aspects, the hard stuff I needed to face, brought into my consciousness for the first time what had been holding me back, because I had always been immersed in them for my entire life. Same girl, same. I had never been fully conscious of them. This is like being a fish in water. It doesn't know what water is until it's exposed to air. It was just the way my life was. During the reading, I was able to right back and objectively see my life patterns for the very first time. Frank explained that out of my initial shyness to express myself when I was younger and my physical karma, I was here to overcome this and become a teacher, a communicator. This I have now become with the establishment of the Center for Conscious Ascension with Alamaria Ariel Heller, sorry for butchering your name, in 2002, which is all about communicating knowledge and tools for raising human consciousness. My latent physical talents were to express the word of spirit and society in a grounded way, which has happened as I found new ways to make higher consciousness knowledge and tools more accessible to people. I learned that my physical goals were to ground into my body and to become emotionally present and connect with people and society. Up to that point, I had definitely been avoiding doing that, living in an emotionally numbed out, isolated, and disconnected state. That was me for many years. This too has happened, and I'm really enjoying being much more connected with my life. My spiritual karma, oh, girl, child. My spiritual karma created the experience of feeling like a victim as a child. And in my adult life, where I felt that the world and people were doing things to me all the time, I was to learn about coming fully into my power. This has come to pass, and I have become a completely different person. A lot of the focus of my spiritual service nowadays is to empower others because I can give them a direct transmission of what they seek, as I have worked through the very same issues they are facing. My latent spiritual talents were to take all my multidimensional past life knowledge and experience and to share it in completeness with the world in my spiritual service. This is manifested as my becoming one of the custodians for this body of soul contract reading knowledge. The continuous development and expansion of the original interpretations of the 22 Hebrew numbers that Frank originally channeled through, and the sharing of it over the past 2 decades, is an integral part of this. As a result, the Center for Conscious Ascension has become the primary source of this work in the English speaking world. We have over 33 years of working experience in delivering readings and training both soul contract reading practitioners and teachers. Cool. Frank passed over in 2007 with a book on this work incomplete. This talent enables me to ensure that his legacy, his gift to the world, lives on and continues to transform people's lives for the better. This book is a culmination of this sharing. My spiritual goals were to take the knowledge that had come to me and that really inspires me, expand it, and share it with others. This is exactly what I'm doing with this book. I had no choice but to write it, as the inner drive from my soul to do so was so strong. It gives me deep satisfaction to pass on knowledge such as this that can really help you transform your life. My soul destiny / life purpose was revealed to me to be all about coming fully into my power and reaching a high level of consciousness as a result. This too is now happening. From this higher state of consciousness, I am now able to help you raise your consciousness. All right, then it's inspired to teach. Inspired to share and teach. I was so inspired by this experience of the reading with Frank that I decided to stay on in the United States for several months. This was in order to learn how to do this work so I could share it with others in the United Kingdom. Frank had given us students in his numerology of Moses workshop permission to share it with as many people as possible by teaching it in our own way. When I returned to the UK, I had a strong urge to share the wonderful, empowering truth of this work that had touched me so deeply with others who were open to it, and I wanted to help them move forward in their lives. It would enable them to navigate the spiritual map of life laid out by the soul from the time they were conceived. As a result of this strong calling, I have delivered thousands of soul contract readings to people all over the world over the past 2 decades to help them become consciousness of the spiritual map of their life. I have given them specific recommendations so they can navigate their map, break through the blockages they face each day, and move towards manifesting a happier, more fulfilling life as they align with and manifest their purpose for being here on earth. Okay. I need water. In addition to this, a major part of my teaching practice has become to train practitioners in this work so that this high level of truth can reach even more people and help them move forward in their lives. I established the Center for Conscious Ascension with Dr. Almaria Ariel Hilaire in 2002 as a vehicle for accelerating the ascension process. This is undertaken by holding a loving and empowering space for spiritual seekers to access and manifest their soul destiny life purpose. Is this in London? Where is this? The core foundation of this process is the soul contract reading work so that they understand the spiritual map of their life. Excuse me, guys. And where they are on it. Recommendations as to which tools, practices, workshops to use are then made to help them progress more easily through their spiritual map. Mariah Ariel Hilaire and I also started training the first UK teachers in 2003. Blue Marsden, the founder of the Holistic Healing College, was our first teacher trainee, and he created another major variant of this work he called Soul Plan, having originally trained as a practitioner with us in 2000. Some other teachers and practitioners taught it by us also call the work by its original name, the Spiritual Numerology of Moses. My eyes watering. The spiritual map of my life. Everything in my soul contract, which at the same time of the reading over 20 years ago seemed only a pipe dream, has happened. This is because Frank's reading has given me that extremely accurate, precious map of the deepest truth of my life. I have followed that map ever since, even when things got tough. Actioning the recommendations that came out of the reading has been a profoundly deep process and has totally changed my life. Oh my goodness. They have helped me work on my most important life issues. As a result, I have broken through much of my karmic patterns, unleashed my talents and moved towards much of my karmic patterns. Unleashed my talents and moved towards achieving my goals and manifesting my soul destiny / life purpose. With the spiritual map of my life, I feel that my life would not have happened and that I probably would have gotten seriously stuck in my karmic patterns as they were so strong. That's how I feel. Like, thank God I'm like in this moment in time where I feel like I'm really getting the tools and the support to get out of it. Because of my perseverance, all the things that Frank told me so many years ago, which seemed unbelievable at the time, have come to pass. My life is happening the way I want it to. I am in a place that would have been unimaginable only a few years ago. I would now like to share with you how you can decode your soul contract, how you can understand the spiritual map of your life, and how you can make this happen for yourself. Beautiful. Love this. Okay. Because we're getting tested with time here, that's all I'm going to read from this. And I want to do the portal reading, this reading, and a little bit of the shamanic reading. So I'm going to just nip it in the bud there. You know what the book's called if you want to get the book. My Instagram, Supernal David 77. I have all the advertisement for this episode and the name of the book and the author, as well on my YouTube posts. I will upload those photos as well. Oh my God, where's my scissors? So if you want to get the book yourself. And I will integrate the book and read it on my own and let you know later on what I learn. Oh my God. So yeah, I heard about this deck, I think on Instagram or something. I just saw it online and then I was like, ooh, let me. So I asked Barnes and Noble if they had it. And they said they had one deck available in the storage unit or whatever it's called. And he goes, they may cancel it because there's only one left. He's like, so he put in the order and he's like, check back in a few days and see if they canceled the order. That means they can't find the one that's left. But they did, and I got it. But I think you can order the deck through the actual like vendor or the actual company who creates this deck. I think sells it. But yeah, for some reason there was only one left through that Barnes and Noble. So here's what it looks like on the back. So it says, develop a meaningful connection with Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, wisdom kings, and other traditional messengers of esoteric Buddhism with this uniquely crafted oracle set. The card features 44 forms of the Buddha, carefully and beautifully rendered by Miki Okuda, with mudras, colors, and symbolism to open your awareness to your true nature and wisdom. In the guidebook, you will discover mandalas, mantras, messages, and blessings to grow your understanding, deepen your compassion, and help you access profound and beneficial insight. Work with mudra, mantra, and mandala for mindfulness, meditation, and potent revelation. In esoteric Buddhism, there are many different Buddhas, each requiring a unique method of worship. That's kind of like the Kali, the different Kalis. Goddess Kali. During my monastic training, I learned the great depths and joys of esoteric Buddhism. And now at Maganosen Ren Join Temple, I work to try and bring people closer to Buddhism in their everyday lives. Yuzei Kotaki. Ooger. All right, so we'll just do a one card reading with this because it's just like an oracle deck. And the tarot reading is going to be like 9 fucking cards. So I'm going to need a little more time for that. Oh my God, if I can get the freaking paper off. Should I just cut it? Or I'm just going to cut the fucking paper. You're driving me nuts over here, paper. Okay. These cards are nice too. Like really like gorgeous cards. Very like sturdy, thick, smooth, very like smooth. All right, dear Buddha. So I got Sho Kanjise Bosatsu. Looks like she's holding like lotus flowers. There's all these like purple and white lotus flowers all around her. It looks like a mandala behind her. Okay, let's read and see what message she has for us. The cute little book. Number 8. That's the number of days between mine and my soulmate's birthday. There's just 8 days in between, which stands for infinity. Okay, Sho Kanjise Bosatsu. Mantra Om Alalik Sivaha, the merciful Buddha of unlimited forms. And then on her head, there's a small Buddha. So she has like a crown on, but you see there's like a little small Buddha on her crown. Well, it's showing that right here. There's like an arrow diagram. It says small statue of Buddha Kibutsu. At my metaphysical shop, they had all these little tiny, cute, like Buddha statues. I want to get a few. Lotus flower. Treasure your pure heart. Let the flower in your heart bloom. It's funny because I have a purple lotus flower candle holder right there. Okay. Treasure your pure heart. Let the flower in your heart bloom. Help is reaching out to you. Wow, that's fucking cool. Remember to stay humble. What a very distinct message. Wisdom from Buddha. In a world full of vibrant and colorful flowers in bloom, your flower might still be just a small bud, but that bud is delicate and a gentle flower that gives you hope for a bright future. Even in a field full of the most exquisite blooms, your flower is one of a kind and precious treasure. There is no need to compare your flower to others or have it be absolutely perfect. Love your flower as it is and be proud of its unique beauty. I love my flower. Love your flower as it is and be proud of your unique beauty. Okay. In your own way and at your own pace. Give your flower all the love and time it needs to grow and bloom. A deeper look. Shokan Jose Bosatsu is one of the 6 kanon, savior to those wandering lost in the realm of hell. And ever is that where we are? It seems like it at times. And ever watchful of humanity. Quick to respond. America. America. Quick to respond to a call for help, she can appear in any of the 33 different forms depending on who needs assistance. In her crown is a small Keibutsu statue of Amida Nayore, and in her hand a lotus flower. Shokonjise Bosatsu knows that our hearts are all created pure. In this form, she opens one of the lotus petals with her right hand, seeking to make a lotus blossom in our hearts. Blessings, recovery from illness, adoration. That was sweet. Aw. I love that. Cute. Cute. So yeah, it's like short and sweet, but potent. Potent with wisdom and synchronicity. That felt very poignant, fitting. Okay, now let's read a smidge of Shamanic Dreaming, Connecting with Your Inner Visionary by Carol Day, forward by Sandra Ingerman. Sorry, I need a little chopstick refresh. And I need a little banana. JK. Okay. All right, Shamanic Dreaming. So here's three little what's it called? People that have read it and give a little review. Carol never fails to delight with her creative and visionary approach. This book had me smiling all the way through as she expertly guides us along a fun, empowering, and expansive journey towards wholeness and truth within a carefully crafted structure. Her writing and encouragement reflects the depth of her experience, respect, and love for both the mythical and the human. Carol is listening to a wider calling, and with this book as our guide, we can't help but do the same. Faye Johnson, shamanic herbalist, Reiki teacher, and author of Plant Spirit Reiki and Plants That Speak, Souls That Sing. Okay. Here's a review from Imelda Almaquist. What do unborn babies dream, floating in their private yet cosmic ocean in the womb? Is our umbilical cord a bridge for dreams as well as nourishment? Does our dreaming add to the dreaming of the earth long before we even see daylight? This new book by Carol Day will help you open doors to the visionary realm, as is your birthright. It will make you an intentional earth whisperer using dreaming as a power tool. Ooh, I love that. You will learn how to continuously place yourself and your relations, plant, animal, mineral, ancestral, and sacred wholeness, the same divine wholeness that dreamed you into being, long before you were even conceived. Treat yourself to this most magical book to become a world-class dreamer. Imelda Almaquist, painter, forest witch, and author of North Sea Water in My Veins and Medicine of the Imagination. Shamanic dreaming is full of practical wisdom to find your sense of belonging through time and your continuing role in the unfolding story of the earth. Okay. It is full of fun and imaginative ways to connect deeply with yourself and to co create a better understanding of your calling and the vision for the earth. As this is guided with the support of deep listening to nature, spirit, and the mythical through all dimensions of time and space, this book will change your life as it did mine. It will give you a sense of living in deep harmony with yourself and the earth in your own unique way. The deep truth and authenticity of this book is so needed for the creation of a new vision for connected earth community. Jillian Duncan, mindfulness coach and teacher and founder of The Moment Is Now. All right, so here's the chapters. All right, scene 1, Heed the Calling. Chapter 1, Presence in the Three Pillars. Chapter 2, Calling. Scene 2, Tuning. Chapter 3, The Visionary Quest. Chapter 4, Dimensions. Chapter 5, Passion, Creativity, and Fire. Chapter 6, Guides. Chapter 3, Nature's Communications. Chapter 7, Weather Spirits. Chapter 8, Birds. Chapter 9, Trees. Chapter 10, The Fae. Scene 4, Animals and Archetypal Support Systems. Chapter 11, Brain Opening and Mapping. Chapter 12, Dreamtime. Chapter 13, Journeying. Chapter 14, Archetypes on the Land. Scene 5, Reflecting. Scene 1, Prep Aligning with Loop. Scene 2, so this is Act 2, Loop. Act 1 was called Calling. Scene 1, Prepping Aligning with Loop. Scene 2, Present Lifetime. Chapter 1, Land and Perspectives on Time. Chapter 2, Rose and Soul. Chapter 3, Spirit of the Age. Chapter 4, Nature's Eternal Knowing. Scene 3, Ancestral Pathways. Chapter 5, Introduction to Ancestors. Chapter 6, Safe Practice. Chapter 7, Dreaming with the Ancestors. Chapter 8, Ceremonies of Release and Surrender with the Ancestors. Oh, Lord. I'm like sleepy. Scene 4, Future Pathways. Chapter 9, Waters of the Earth. Chapter 10, A Cleaning Up Job. Chapter 11, Journeying and the Oracle. Chapter 12, Unity. Scene 5, Wishes for the Future. Finale, Vision Hoop. Overview of exercises, bibliography, acknowledgments about the author. Okay. All right, here's the foreword. I was so excited when Carol Day contacted me and told me she had written Shamanic Dreaming, a most brilliant book. As civilizations have had to do throughout time, the human race is now at a precipice where we are being asked to let go of the need for individuality and come together as a community of healers, dreamers, and visionaries to support each other and to shift the course of human consciousness. A crucial area we must focus on is how we can leave a better world to our descendants instead of just expecting them to clean up all the damage we have done. Making survival in the future more difficult. Carol Day is a brilliant visionary herself. One morning she awoke to the words being spoken that visionaries are needed in these times to take care of the future life map. From these words, this book and practice were born. Reading the book, you will find that one of the core teachings of Carol's work is based on community being able to include as well as listen with honor, respect, and kindness to each member of the Earth community and all that lies beyond. Carol believes that it is with this approach that we can return to a state of harmony and a more connected way of being. Due to the initiation our planet is going through, people are feeling called to find others with a similar vision so they can feel more support and not feel so alone to deal with all that comes up in such turbulent times. Finding a strong and supportive community is a way to journey into the eye of the storm, where there is silence and peace to gather one's sense of intuition and innate knowing to return to a place of harmony. Carol advocates that if we equip everyone with confidence and with practices and encouragement, then perhaps we can shift the path we are on now to a positive collective vision. Shamanic dreaming gives us an entrance into a mystical way of living, helping us to reconnect with the earth and with the web of life. It opens us to the understanding that we are all actors within a wider mythical theater where we have the potential to take on new roles. In this place, we can become everyday co creators of a new story waiting to be born. Carol provides a wealth of tools and practices to enable these roles to be found and to shift our thinking to the to, wa- to ways to prosper. Shamanic dreaming will really call to those of you who want to step into the role of the visionary and consider what this means for our planet in these times. It is a book that teaches how to create a beautiful and deep relationship with nature, especially plants, trees, and the weather spirits, and also with the spirit worlds and animal archetypes. An important focus of this book is how to step out of isolation. Its pages teach us how to connect with ancestors, those who live now and the future, oh my goodness, and the future ones, and how to appreciate the possibilities of and importance of connecting and co-creating through this ever-present supportive caravan through time. Spanish caravan. Creatively staged as a play in Act One, calling the curtain opens to the earth community, the animals, plants, elements, and spiritual realms. Behind this act are encountered through working with a visionary model. In Act Two, loop systemic constellation, and visionary techniques are brought in that take the conversation out into the world and through time. There is your lived life resonating now with a deeper aspect of the play of life. I imagine that the reader will be able to leave behind any feelings of isolation and realize how much connection they have and that life will continue. Carol shares illuminating personal stories as well as her gifts of expertise, clarity, love, and compassion to make this an exciting read while remaining a practical journey. The end result is magnificent as the reader can feel the birth of her own unique vision, supported by the visions of wide and e- expansive trope of performers encountered through this journey. I have known Carol Day for more than 10 years. She is truly a remarkable person. She lives what she teaches and is balanced in her spiritual work as well as the practical side of life. Carol is grounded and so connected to nature, and she teaches from a place of kindness and compassion. Many years ago, as I was leading a 2 year teacher training in Scotland, I developed a health issue partway through. I asked Carol to join our group and assist me in teaching. That is how my faith and I have that is how much faith I have in Carol. That's so cool. Carol is a true visionary, and she used her creative brilliance to bring us this book, Shamanic Dreaming. to help create a healthy community. This book is a gem and so important for our times. That's Sandra Ingerman, MA, world-renowned shamanic teacher and award-winning author of 12 books, including Walking in the Light and the Book of Ceremony. Wow, that's cool. All right, so we're going to jump to the reading now because we have 55 minutes and it's 9 cards. So let me move all this so I can lay out the 9 cards. It's going to be a special little 999 portal reading. We're going to use the B Tarot, my new deck, my deck. All right, let's light. Forgot to light this again. My clementine and honey candle. We'll sage the deck a little. Move these scissors. Bookmarks. Wipe down this. Ooh, Put this up here. I have enough room. Candle right here. My Florida water. Wait, where's that towel? Okay, now I have enough room for 9 card layout. All right, let's sage the deck. Alrighty. Sage you guys. Sage me. A little white sage and sweet grass. Cover the sage. A little energy cleansing. All right. Let's do this 9 card layout. 1, 2, Oops, 2 goes down here. Three. What? This is 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 8, 6, 7, 9. What the fuck does that mean? I didn't even notice that. Anyways. Okay, apparently that card wants to come out. Ooh, okay. Two more, and we got the whole reading. No, these are stuck together. Okay. Alrighty. Get in there, duck. Okay, now where's the spread thing? Okay, so the first card is Shadow of the Past. What fear, grief, or unfinished business is still echoing through my life? So card 1, 10 of Wands. So remember on the last episode, I got the beekeeper, and then I was like, he's a keeper. I was like talking about my soulmate. But I don't know if it was saying that I'm the key. I was just me making like a, like. So I don't know if it was saying I'm the keeper, and this is like the bee looking at it like a distance. 10 of Wands. So yeah, it shows the keeper. I love the symbology of like the artwork. So let's try to like decipher what's being said here. Oh my God, I love this. This book is just stunning. I like the book is so big. Usually they're like small, What I don't like is that the table of contents is like not. You almost have to like it just says into the hive, the magic of the beast. It doesn't have like, then it has the major arcana, the minor arcana, but it doesn't have like. Well, I guess it's numbered. No, that card is not numbered. So it's wands. So let me go to wands. 10 of wands. Okay. All right, here we go. 10 of wands, and now again, this is shadow of the past. What fear, grief, or unfinished business is still echoing through my life? It's upright. Oh, wait, so it starts here. 10 of wands, buzzwords, overwhelm, burden, obligations. What was I just saying? That was my life for fucking most of my life, that I was indebted to people that had some sort of thing over me financially, or like that I owed them. I was constantly made to feel like I owed everybody the fucking world and that I was a slave and it was never good enough and I could never cultivate enough. It was just like the biggest cultural ancestral gaslighting I've ever fucking, I mean, that's what I experienced. What do you mean that I ever? There's just, that is what my shadow of the past is: overwhelm, burden, obligations on the fucking money. When we strive to become creative and express our passions, we can invariably take on too much or stretch ourselves too thinly. True. This leads to overwhelm and a sense of not being able to do anything well because there is just so much to do. The bee in flight is almost weighed down with the amount of pollen she carries on her legs. Oh, so see all the pollen on her legs? I didn't even notice that. I just thought she was like, had on some leg warmers or was like, was bootylicious like J-Lo or something. I don't know. Okay. So the bee in flight is almost weighed down by with the amount of pollen she carries on her legs, and much more can be seen on the underside of her body. I love the detail artwork. See all the pollen on the belly? For the sake of the hive, she is compelled to carry on collecting. In turn, the keeper gazes at the hive and feels the burden of caring for the bees and the hard work of extracting the honey. They stand still. That sounds like me too, in the sense of like wanting to do what I need to do, but also taking care of people. I feel that same sort of burden of caring for the bees and the hard work of extracting the honey. Yep. Like my mission plus my caretaking of people I love and my puppy and all that. They stand still, gazing over the top of the hive toward a house in the distance. The wands of their achievements are behind them, but do they notice them? So sometimes it's hard to like, like gauge how far you've come actually and how much you actually have achieved when you come from such of like a challenging paths. It's hard to see the forest for the trees. That's why it's good to have like, another higher perspective from someone that loves you. Okay. Upright, you have taken on too much, and the danger is you may fall into the category of jack of all trades and master of none. Honey, I'm a Gemini. That's what I've been called my whole life. Don't be that person. Don't allow a sense of obligation or trying to please everyone at the same time to dilute your own goals, dreams, and ambitions. I know this is the message. I know. I'm not saying it's easy though, but I know this is the message. But I'll do what I have to do. Okay? I will do what I have to do. You just lead me and guide me, and I'll do what I have to do. There's no resistance to this, okay? There may be some emotional attachments and processing, but I will do what I need to do. Just please have mercy on everyone involved and compassion. And please support me in facilitating that, is what my prayer is. You have done well, but now feel like you do not know in which direction you are pulled. True. Just hold on. Hope and clarity are around the corner. Just hold on. Hope and clarity are around the corner. Thank you. And that is what I was just telling my mom. Like, chill. It's coming around the corner. I'm just trying to, receive direction from God. All right, card 2. Now this placement is cycle ending. What chapter is drawing to a close under the 999 portal? Now it's a woman with 2 swords blindfolded. So it's 2 of swords, but she's like blindfolded. Reminds me of Parashakti, one of my old friend and teacher, who was like I learned a lot about shamanism from her. And she would do this thing with blindfold, like where she would dance of liberation, where we'd be blindfolded and dance. So look at all the bees around. Okay. Where's the swords? Okay. All right, what is closing 2 of swords? Indecision, fear, and difficulty. Thank God that's closing, because it's really like not an energy I ever want to be in. Truly, it's not fun. It's like you have to transmute that energy, you have to get into a state of peace, calm, drive, focus, motivation. So there's a lot to transmute that when you're in it, but stay the course. All right, the 2s concern themselves. So indecision, buzzwords, indecision, fear, and difficulty. This is what is closing. The 2s concern themselves with potential relationships and the coming together of various factors or ideas. In Wands, we saw how this was reflected through passion and creativity. In Jars, it was the emotional aspect that was important. But here it is the power of thought that can be one's worst enemy. True. Overthinking, exact. I'm saying that. The book's not saying that. Overthinking. It may be that a person is acting from a place of fear, of the unknown, or great change, or that the status quo is just safer. It may be that there is insufficient information available so that the querent can make what they feel is the right choice. When faced with a multitude of directions and choices, we require clarity in order to make calculated decisions. Exactly. That's where patience comes in, and divine timing and surrender and what was I saying? Detachment, like positive detachment. We're not talking about ignoring or neglect or anything. We're talking about positive detachment. This person is in a position where they cannot see the forest for the trees. Their worries are creating enormous difficulties for them. Fear has reduced them to indecision. Notice how the bees are flitting about the person. These represent the hundreds of conflicting thoughts that are confounding the situation. But they can also guide the individual to a clarity of mind if only they would trust in themselves. So it's up. It was upright. So upright. The swords this person holds in their hands are not ones of defense. Instead, they represent the sharp edges of the mind and the perplexity of indecision. There are a number of routes open to this person, and they may each have their own appeal, but they cannot seem to make a decision and choose one path over another. The blindfold that hinders their vision is another object of their own doing. and may indicate that they are reluctant to make a decision for fear of great change. So that is ending, thank God. 3, cycle beginning. What new path or opportunity is starting to open up? Yes, God. Ooh, the honeymoon. Yes. Duh. Look, the honeymoon. All right, where's that at? See, that's what I mean. Oh, there it is. Where did I see that? Like, you almost have to like flip through this book. That's the only thing I don't like, is that the table of contents isn't broken down. Here it is. Okay. The honeymoon. What is she doing? Oh, it's a couple. At first it just looked like a girl. It's a couple, like freaking making out in the grass. Ah, it is a honeymoon. I knew it was talking about love. That's the beginning that's coming in for me. Yes. This too, it says buzzwords, relationships, harmony, self love. True, true, true. Thank you, baby, for everything. Often taken to mean a period of blissful harmony following a betrothal. A betrothal. Often taken to mean a period of blissful harmony following a betrothal or a holiday that is taken after a marriage. The term honeymoon is intimately connected to relationships. The term is derived from the Old English honeymoon, like Hony, then Moone, which contains a reference to the sweetness of marriage. Going to the chapel and we're going to get married. Which contains a reference to the sweetness of marriage, as well as refers to the European tradition of gifting the married couple with mead to last an entire cycle of the moon. Gifting the married couple with mead? What is MEAD? What is mead? Never heard that. Oh, an alcoholic drink of fermented honey and water. How fucking cool is that? Interesting. Baby, we might have to do that at our wedding. Fermented honey and water? Done. Wait, I'm trying to find the spread again. Sorry. Okay. I have never heard of that. To last an entire cycle of the moon. How fucking cool is that? And we could do like that cycle thing too. Fucking cool. Within the hive, bees store and feed on honey during the colder months. But prior to a swarm being the process by which honeybees leave their hive colony to form a new colony elsewhere. The bees will gorge on honey and take that stock to a new location. 100% pure and raw, unfiltered. Mm. So they'll gorge on honey and take the stock to the new location. In old English customs, this detail from the hive was imposed upon the wife, who should abstain from the consumption of honey lest she flee the marital home. In vernacular language, a honeymoon period is when an individual finds themselves in a new position where a system of grace is employed that forgives any teething problems that may arise. Huh? Regardless of how the term is used, the implication is that the honeymoon refers to connection and relationship. And whilst it is tempting to externalize this as physical love between two individuals, it can often refer to self love. Well, self love leads to soulmate love. Within the hive, we can establish if the bees act from a platform of love or instinct for the well being of the collective. In either case, both the collective and the individual's needs are cared for. It's upright as well. Look carefully at the cards that surround this one in any reading, for they will guide you toward knowing if the situation being discussed is an external relationship or an internal matter. Look, it's the guy, and then it's the girl, and then it's the guy and girl together. Like the guy in the beginning is the beekeeper, and he's like looking at the house in a faraway distance. Then it is the and with the bee in the background with the pollen, and then like he's gonna pollinate his girl, and then the girl's blindfolded with her two swords with the bees and the flowers. Then it's them naked making out in the grass, and the bees are all flying around them, and then there's a big tree. Ooh, I love this. What a fucking reading. So look carefully at the cards that surround this one in any reading, for they will guide you towards knowing if the situation. Oh my God, this, I see, I love tarot. I mean, it really tells a story. So I'm going to start doing bigger card, like bigger layout readings, because it is like, it does really tell a story. What a great tarot spread, honestly. There's tons of spreads though, so I want to start experimenting with more spreads. For they will guide you towards knowing if the situation being discussed is an external relationship or an internal matter. I think it's both, because I believe internal love leads to that. So, either case, this card implies that love is what matters. And as long as the situation you are in is imbibed with love, you won't go far wrong. Well, that it is. Beyond overflowing. Okay, let's go to fourth. Cool. King of Pentacles, yes, daddy. For what to release? What attachment, habit, or belief is ready to be released? So that's what this position is. You know, it's weird though. And so those three were. This spread is confusing. It's not even numbered right. It's like 1, 2, 3, then it goes 5, 5, 8, 6, 7, 9. Like I'm so confused. But then on the numbers below, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm confused. Okay, anyways, let's go to King of Pentacles. I don't think the layout lineup is so much relevant as what the story of the cards are telling anyway, so whatever. King of Pentacles. Oh my god, I am going to be delirious at my appointment tomorrow. I swear. It's already like 2:35. King of Pentacles. Buzzwords: fatherly, disciplined, powerful. So funny. I was like, yes, daddy. And then it says fatherly. The King of Pentacles is the epitome of a socially responsible person. He has a gentle strength and is dependable and to an extent predictable. In this card, we see a male drone bee who has one task: to mate with the queen and subsequently bring abundance to the hive. His massive eyes allow him to find the queen during her mating flight, which in this card signifies an individual who sees significantly more than first meets the eye. He is perceptive and diligent in his tasks, realistic, and takes their work and responsibilities seriously. When we translate the qualities of the drone into a personality type, they represent the masculine qualities of this suit. They are pragmatic and willing to guide others to find the best version of themselves. This person works hard to provide for those that they care for. This sounds like my man. Whilst they have worked hard to achieve their objectives, they also believe that life must be enjoyed. That sounds like him. And so they like the finer things in life and tend to lavish their wealth on other people. They don't do this to look good, they are compelled to share their gains. It's upright. This is a person you will go to for advice about material things in your life. He does guide me, and that's like weird because I had that voice the other day when I was like, and it's funny because he gave me that book about projecting your voice at a distance, and there's like a story in the book of the invisible influence where the yogi does that. He projects his voice and he's like at a far distance to who he speaks to. So I'm like sleeping and I get this voice this week, and I didn't know if it was like my soulmate or a spirit guide or an angel, but it just said be careful who you go into business with. And but my love has said that in one of his videos not too far back, where he was basically warning me of the same thing and why I should, because when I can develop my own sort of thing instead of working for someone else and being under someone's thumb, and which is smart, and I completely agree. And you just want to make sure that somebody doesn't try to take advantage of you. And but yeah, it's like I do go to him for like advice on stuff like this, and will when offers come in. um but it says this is a person you will go to for advice about material things in your life. They're excellent accountants and legal advisors with sharp minds that can penetrate issues and quickly find a solution. Their hugs may be quick and verging on awkward, but they exude a warmth that tells you how much they care. He's not awkward. Okay. Cute. Four of Jars. And the honey is overflowing, baby. portal energy. How is the vibration of the 999 portal shaping my experience right now? Interesting. There's like this like honey pot in the sky with all these bees around it. Looks abundant to me, honey. Looks real abundant. Look at all that behind him. The portal is bringing in abundance, overflowing. Four of jars. Honey pot. Honey jars. Okay. All right, here we go. Oops, there's a little bee down there too. Okay. Buzzwords: apathy, dissatisfaction, withdrawal. What we celebrated in the Three of Jars has now been forgotten. And this person has become lost in the logistics and demands that have arisen from something he initially loved. In essence, this person has become a victim of his own success. His love for the bees diminished as he foresaw profit from productivity. But this came at an immense price. The figure pours another batch of honey into yet another jar to add to the countless boxes of honey jars behind him. His heart has gone out of the situation. He is bored, listless, and has withdrawn from the world and the joys he once perceived in it. He didn't intend to do this. This was not what he foresaw in the future. Somewhere along the line, he lost his way, and making money replaced the joy and love of beekeeping. Look toward the back of the card, and you will notice that the universe itself is presenting another jar to the keeper. This is the same jar that we see in the ace. The potential for this entire suit is still there, but for some reason you are unable or unwilling to see it. This cycle needs to be broken, for this apathy will eventually harm you. What does apathy mean again? Lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. More like worn the fuck out, tired, stressed out, lonely, more like that. But I'm working against all that to be more present, tuned in a vibrational alignment. You must find a way. This is what I've been transmuting very recently with this curveball. You must find a way to break this stagnation and return to the promise of possibility heralded by the jar behind you. Okay. Upright, you have lost heart. I wouldn't say that. A situation you find yourself in has become immensely boring. My life is kind of boring right now. I'm at home all the fucking time by myself. My podcast isn't really boring, but it can be tediously like preparing it. But you got yourself onto this situation, so it stands to reason that you have the tools to extract yourself or rediscover the love that originally compelled you. I think when I did my first season, I was in a less stressful like time frame when I was doing that on Instagram, and it did have like more of like an excitement. Then I brought it to YouTube, and I've had a lot of like personal challenges happen as I'm trying to do it, which has kind of like thrown me off a little bit as I'm doing the curation. So that's honestly what it is. It's more just like life throwing these curveballs or hurdles or distractions or triggers as I'm trying to focus on something that I love, which affects it. So, anyways, don't make me tell you. Okay, I get it. Whatever. Now there's some guy with like a wheelbarrow. The barrow. Is that honey? Soul gift. What strength, talent, or wisdom am I carrying forward? A wheelbarrow. If I can find the damn wheelbarrow in this big ass book. Wheelbarrow, where are you? The wheel. No, it's the barrow. The barrow. Shouldn't the barrow be after the wheel? Here he is. All right, buzzwords: momentum, action, will. When a situation barrels forward of its own volition, we can easily be derailed and our plans scuppered. Never heard that word. When we move forward in a calculated and methodical manner, we have the potential to foresee any issues or problems and target them before they become troublesome. In this card, we see the keeper in summer attire pushing a wheelbarrow that contains a hive. Okay. Flowers adorn the edges of the path that leads the keeper and the bees towards a new destination. This is a relationship in action and represents the powers of will and determination, attributes that the keeper and the bees have in common. Working together and in unison, there is a symbiosis that arises from their connection. Each one relies on the other. Each is driven by different but complementary needs. Whenever this card appears in a reading, it is a surefire sign that processes are moving toward the manifestation of a predetermined goal. The barrow is not about leaving things to chance. This is sheer determination, but this must come from a place of deep commitment, not just desire. Abso-fucking-lutely. The hive is representative of the home. But often these must be uprooted for a new destination, and as such, this card can imply travel or moving to a new home. Okay? It's upright as well. Your commitment is paying off and things are moving along exactly as you predicted and desired. Thank God. But be cautious that you don't let your guard down. Don't leave anything to chance or fate. Maintain your discipline and your vision. There may be obstacles ahead, but you have the necessary abilities and skills to deal with them head on. Okay. Oh, cute. Prince of Wands. And look, he has like a little animal like on his like leash. Ancestral deep lesson. What karmic or ancestral pattern is ready to be completed? Prince of Wands. Oh my God. I just flipped exactly to the fucking page. Like I flipped through half the book and just it opened right to it. Ooh, that just gave me the fucking chills. Literally, the hair on my arms just stood up. Wow. And I was talking about ancestral lesson. Prince of Wands, buzzwords, action, travel, determination. In the Prince, we see the first stirring of movement toward achieving his goals and bringing them into manifestation. The sunflowers in this card are not only loved by the bees, but their turning heads that follow the sun's passage imply a steady movement. This is a lesson for the Prince. This person's eagerness can be their undoing. That's why I'm being patient. They are quick to act and might only think about their actions when it is too late. They are compulsive and their actions can sometimes be judged as overenthusiastic. Yeah, I know. In traditional tarot associations, the Prince of Wands represents the air of fire, which is the heat that we feel from the flames. In this manner, it may often be said that the prince can appear as a lot of hot air. I am an air sign, bitch. No, I'm just kidding. And because of this, he can be underestimated, but his passion is sincere and directed. He may lack maturity and a sense of outcome, but he makes up for it with sheer enthusiasm and a big dick. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not, but yeah. And determination. The problem with the prince is that he can be a little hasty and may not stop to consider the implications of his actions. Okay, I will be less hasty. Noted. His nature is a little like the cat that is driving them forward, full of curiosity but easily distracted. Okay. I will be more focused. Upright, slow and steady. So it's upright. Slow and steady progress is the key. Do not rush. Do not rush headlong into the situation. You may be inclined to be super enthusiastic about every idea you have, but slow down and assess. Okay. Sound like my mother. Jesus criminy. It's like, I already know this. You don't think I assess shit for myself? Please. Yes, I fucking do. Talk to me like this. I'm just kidding. All right. 8 of jars. So he's taken off his beekeeper outfit. He's got the jars filled. He's looking out the door. All right, so this is higher calling. Where is the universe nudging you into greater alignment or service? Okay. 8 of jars. Excuse moi. I'm hungry. I want my steak. Make a steak at 3 in the fucking morning. I'm like ravenous every time I finish an episode. But that's too heavy to eat right before bed. Okay. All right, 8 of jars, abandonment. So what? Higher calling, where is the universe nudging me into greater alignment or service? Buzzwords, abandonment, dissatisfaction, escape. In contrast to the image of the 7 jars, the person in this card is now spurred into action. But anyone looking in from the outside may be perplexed and baffled by this person's actions. People are always baffled by my actions, except for my love. The keeper's suit is cast over a chair and the protective hood abandoned on the table together with 8 golden jars of honey. These draw attention to the successes in the person's life. They have done well. The harvest of their own living has yielded great results, and they have been fulfilled. But something has changed. Regardless of the successes, they feel there is now an emptiness that betrays all that they achieved. The home is dilapidated. The pictures hang awkwardly in their frames, and the wallpaper is peeling away from the walls. Yeah, he needs his soulmate. He has said that the home is an external expression of the mind, and here we see that the home is tired and uncared for. If you find this card in a reading, a person has had enough of their lot, but they may not be able to fully articulate why. They have accomplished a lot, and they are proud of that, but there is a stagnation, a sense of putting on a face and getting on with it. Yeah, because I've been through the fucking ringer. Do you not get it? And there's more to life that I'm interested in than what I've achieved so far. The illusion of the 7 of jars cannot be withstood here. Upright. Okay, they're all upright apparently. Something has to give, and perhaps the only way to do that is to walk away from a situation entirely. The heart has gone out of the matter, and there is a decline in interest. What once sang to the spirit now leaves a person feeling empty and dissatisfied. I do feel, dissatisfied at home and empty and like lonely. Yeah, I want more. I want my own soulmate, my own freaking space, my own sort of independent finances. I want more than what I have. Yes, I'm dissatisfied. But I'm also having gratitude and staying in a vibrational alignment of being having gratitude for where I'm at and everything I have. So, you know what, Tarot deck, you're a little bit fucking a negative Nancy, and I'm not going to let you put me into vibrational disalignment. Thank you very much. Grab your coat and walk into a new future. I sure will. You will only find your answer by taking action. Well, newsflash. Maybe you should rewrite your freaking commentary. How about that? Christopher Hughes. Just kidding. All right, now there's Homegirl with her bee necklace and making some recipes. She got 2 candles. Portal blessing. What blessing or divine support will help me anchor this transformation? Okay, we got 7 of jars, my lucky number 7, and there she is. How funny. And the one above it was 8 of jars. Interesting. Opportunities, illusion, promises unfulfilled. Bitch, what? Shut the fuck up. What blessing or divine support will help me anchor this transformation? How is that going to help me anchor my fucking transformation? There is something not quite right with this card. You're fucking telling me, bitch. All is not as it seems. 7 jars of honey sit in a tray upon the table, with 1 jar open and a honey spoon placed within it. We can assume that the figure may well have added some sweet honey to her tea. Hello? I sure the fuck did. There are a lot of bee symbolisms here, from the books on the beekeeping to the the beeswax candle. Is this me? That is too funny. I'm dying right now. Hilarious. There, there are a lot of bee symbolisms here. Yeah, that was the whole theme for this episode, bitch. Um, from the books on beekeeping to the beeswax candles. This is cracking me up. The plaque up on the wall and the bumblebee decorated oversized jumper. Is that her outfit? Too funny. Oversized jumper. Bees are resting upon the windowsill, whilst others have taken to their flight. And yet, looks can be deceptive. Oh, really? When we make assumptions, we can invariably be incorrect. True. And it is often easy to completely misread a room, a situation, or this case, a card. Look closely at the figure's face to notice that she appears to be gazing off to her right, with a daydream appearance to her countenance. The jumper is oddly fitted. It appears to hang from her body in a rather unflattering manner. Rude, as if it is not really there. What? We might assume this person is the beekeeper and the jars of honey were harvested by her hands, but we would be wrong. This is a person who is in love with the very idea of beekeeping and has all the accoutrements to become one, but she has never actually done it. Yeah. She can see the opportunities clearly, but she lacks the motivation to be spurred into action. I think you're misreading it. Instead, the promise of summer held in the hive is unfulfilled. It is simply an illusion. The person has become blinded by the potential of keeping bees and is now trapped in a fantasy of her own making. Oh, so this is supposed to anchor this portal blessing. What blessing or divine support will help me anchor this transformation? This card is focused on the opportunities that are available to us. Okay. Yeah. This card is focused on the opportunities that are available to us and highlights the choices we make in moving forward. Okay. But be warned that illusions and delusions are thrown into the mix. Yeah, I fucking know, motherfucker. What is the nature of your true intentions? Bitch. Oh my god, people are. This guy's annoying. I'm returning this deck. Oh my god. Enough already with that. Whoever wrote that is just like a little negative fucking Nancy. But I get what you're saying. Do not be delusional. Do not be fucking unmotivated. Yeah. All right, that reading was exhausting, honestly. Just like life can be. And I'm exhausted and I have to be up in what time? I have to leave in 4 hours. No, I have to leave like an hour before. So I think 8:30. So I have 4.5 hours, so I can still sleep a little bit, but I'm hungry. I need to eat something. Anyways, guys, sorry that reading ended on like a bummer note. I'm like, are you kidding me? Luckily, I don't revolve my life around a fucking tarot reading. But it's fun. Sometimes they resonate, sometimes they don't. Every deck is so different, and each author is so different. But all in all, the artwork is really cool. I just think some of the shit the fucking person, like the keywords and certain things, it's just kind of like all over the fucking place. I think I like the esoteric Buddhism of Japan deck better, but it's not tarot. It's just like a. So we ended right at 3:03. Um, right on the money, but it's been fun. I already got all the stuff for the next episode 6, part 1 and 2. Got 2 decks, got 2 books. I'm gonna space it out a little bit. Have a little space in between the next episode. I need a little break right now. I'm just like wearing myself out, and I think a little bit of the reading was an indication of me to like, and even my soulmate has been telling me not to like overwork myself and like rest and like receive. And so this podcast I can get a little too carried away with or like immersed in. So financially I'm like forced to like take a break anyway. So luckily I have enough for the next episode, and then I'm taking a hiatus. The next episode will be the last. I'm thinking I think I'll end it there because it's 6 episodes, but there's 2 episodes per thing, so it's actually like 12 episodes total, which is like a full like season. So I think we'll end season 1 there, and I'm just going to focus on other things for a while, especially since things are just happening in that sense anywhere where I feel like life is really moving me into like a new chapter of work. So it's good that this is coming to like one more episode, and then we'll call, it'll be a complete season done on YouTube. So I'm proud of that as well, to accomplish that. But I love you guys. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for anyone who enjoys this process with me, and thank you for all the positive thoughts, good energy, good vibes, well wishes, right back at you. I love you, baby. Thank you for all your loving, unconditionally loving support. You know how much I love you. Thank you. God bless everyone. Have a good night. Happy 999 portal, and may all your dreams come true.